as Gasparini just patrolling the edge of his technical area. Throw-in is going to be taken by Robin Gersons. Good piece of play in midfield by Kone to hold off the challenge of Mandragora. Now the ball's bobbling around just outside the Fiorentina penalty area, but they've managed to smuggle it away for now. Goodmanson goes down under a pretty robust challenge from Ndicka. And the referee deciding to award the free kick to Fiorentina. Really good atmosphere inside the Olimpico this evening. Maybe not quite a sellout. Such a cavernous bowl of a stadium, isn't it? The Stadio Olimpico, but those who are in attendance making plenty of noise as they look to push Roma on to be a really big win for Gasparini and his men. They've got a free kick here, the hosts, just inside the Fiorentina half. Some muscular play in midfield from Kone, just buying a free kick out of Brescianini. Now, Ndor, I'll confirm in a moment. But yeah, Marco Brescianini is actually starting for Fiorentina. As I say, must have been a late injury to, I think, Shirt Ndor it is who's missing from that announced lineup. But anyway, here comes Fiorentina now. It's played back to Ranieri. He moves it on to Dodo. Midway inside the Roma half. Worked out to the right-hand side. Here's Harrison, left-footed cross, flicked on awkwardly, and Mancini just stuck a leg out there on the edge of his 6-yard box and managed to deflect it over his own crossbar, but it was a bit of an awkward one for the Roma centre-half there. It was actually flicked on by one of his own teammates there, but ultimately a good piece of defending from Gianluca Mancini, but it's come at the expense of a corner. First one of the game. And it is going to be whipped in from the right-hand side. Jack Harrison over this one. Raising his right hand and swinging it in left-footed. Decent ball, headed partially away. Roma now battling away over there with Sule. He manages to win a throw-in. A little deflection off Fagioli. Just seen Shirt Ndor there, so I think it must be Mandragora actually who's picked up that knock in the warm-up. As Fiorentina now retreat and prepare to face this Roma throw, which Mancini is going to take midway inside his own half. It's up to Sule. He loses out though in midfield. Good battling piece of play in there by Brescianini. Does he want to throw in for his team there? Not entirely sure if he has. It's tough to see who got the last touch on that one. It was a clearance that was made by Zeki Celik. And I think it just flicked off the shoulder. And so Roma ended up winning the throw-in. They've lost the ball though. It's been turned over, and then Fiorentina go long down the right-hand side towards Harrison. Harrison just overruns it though. It goes out of play for a Roma throw. Here's Ndicka. The referee wants the throw-in taken again. I think possibly not happy with where it was taken from by Wesley. And so Wesley has another go now. It's high up towards Marlon. Commanding header in there by Pongracic. And then it's knocked back towards Svilar, the goalkeeper, who tries a clearance out to the right-hand side. Gets it a bit wrong, and good header won by Robin Gersons. Asking Manus Solomon to get involved. Solomon now battling away with Mancini, who gets the upper hand on him, and eventually Roma smuggle it away and manage to get themselves a throw-in too. Just level with the edge of their own penalty area on the right-hand side. And so we've played 5 minutes here at the Olimpico. If you are just tuning in, still goalless between AS Roma and ACF Fiorentina. As Mancini now takes a throw in long up the line. Hoiked back over his head by Ranieri. Bouncing up towards the edge of the Roma penalty area. And Ndicka deals with it. And then it's hacked further away by Mancini, but it's out for a throw in to Fiorentina, and they're deep inside the Roma half. Gersons holding the ball pretty much parallel with the penalty spot. Goes short in the end this time to Gudmundsson. He gets it back to Gersons, and then he plays it inside to Ranieri. Here's Dodo now. Plays it out to the right to Jack Harrison. Harrison's pass back towards Dodo, just a little bit away from the Brazilian, who had to head a little bit back towards his own goal, more than he would have done anyway. Or would have wanted to have done, I should say. And in the end, Dodo plays the ball back to David De Gea. De Gea now measures a pass into midfield to Gudmundsson, who's just dropped in to link things up for Fiorentina. Dodo inside to Brescianini. Brescianini hoiks one down the right-hand side. That's asking an awful lot of Jack Harrison, and indeed it just bounces all the way through to Mile Svilla. And here's Mancini now. He goes long down the right-hand side, but it's not going to find its way to Sule. It's easy for Ranieri just to tidy up and get it back to David De Gea, who plays a pass into midfield again. Gudmundsson dropping in to link the play, and it's back with De Gea once more. De Gea goes long this time, down the middle. Well, it's not a bad idea actually, that from De Gea, because Harrison was making a run and he probably actually would have been in behind if the ball had been right. Unfortunately for Fiorentina, a little bit too heavy. It just bounced all the way through to Svilla, who has the ball now, just at the edge of his own penalty area. Rolls it to his left to Ndicka. Kone coming short to receive for Roma. Playing it down the line. Nice little turn by Marlon, although almost losing the ball. But then Dodo steps in well for Fiorentina. Plays a little square pass to Brescianini. He then plays it over to the right-hand side, where Harrison tries to slide a pass down and finds the run of Ndor. Ndor with Dodo for support. Here is Dodo now, down near the byline over on the right-hand side. Lays it back to Harrison. Harrison to Ndor. And now in comes the ball into the penalty area that's well dealt with by Ndicka, and then it's Kone bursting clear for Roma, showing really good strength here, the midfielder, and now steaming into the Fiorentina half. Lays a little pass up to Marlon, but he left it short, and well, Fiorentina were able to step in and win the ball back, and they're coming forward themselves now, the visitors. Again, down the right-hand side, and it's Brescianini getting his head down and bursting forward. Gets to the edge of the penalty area, tries to slide a pass into Gudmundsson, but that's well cut out by Roma. And they have it back here with Celik, who gives it to Svilla. Svilla's clearance over to the left-hand side. One well in the air by Wesley, but the ball just bouncing down kindly at the feet of Brescianini, who clips the ball over the top. Well, just a bit of a mix-up in communication there with Harrison, who was starting to make a run down that right-hand side, but then checked it just at the wrong moment as Brescianini was trying to loft a pass over the top to get him in behind. That allows Roma to just start to build a bit of possession again, although almost giving it away there. A bit of a heavy touch by Sule. I think they are going to have a free kick though, Roma, for a foul on Zeki Celik. It's Gersons who's just stamped on the foot there of Zeki Celik. They've taken it quickly, Roma, and there's another free kick as well here. Kone going down under a challenge from Jack Harrison in the centre circle. Just shy of the centre circle, I should say. And Roma looking to get things moving again with Pizzilli. Up to Marlon, back to goal, does well to hold up play and then spreads it over to the left-hand side where it's collected by Wesley. Wesley now checks inside onto the right foot, finds Marlon. Here's Kone. Wide on the left-hand side, midway inside the Fiorentina half. Roma just probing and looking for an opportunity to play through La Viola here. There's Celik now. Leaves it to Sule, who comes in field off the right flank onto his left foot. Finds Kone, who gets it back from Ndicka. Kone with a fizzed pass into Sule at the edge of the box. That's well cut out, though, by Fiorentina. And then showing lovely feet in midfield there was Ndor to bring the ball away. It's laid back here to Gersons, who drills it long. Just hacking it up the field, but no one there in a white shirt for that one. And Svilla just comes out to collect. Good 10 or 15 yards outside his penalty area. He's retreated now towards the penalty spot, and he's actually got the ball back at his feet too. Roma keeper clips one now over to the left-hand side, where it's Dodo winning the aerial battle against Wesley. At the expense of a throw-in, though. And Roma just looking to get a bit of a foothold in this game, because it's been, well, fairly cagey stuff so far, but if anything, Fiorentina had a little bit more of the territory. Maybe that's going to change here with Mancini. He finds Celic, who does well to hold off a couple of Fiorentina players. It's Pisilli now. Plays it inside to Cristante. Cristante goes back out to the right-hand side to Celic. Oh, nice little piece of skill there. Didn't quite come off, though, as Gersons comes away with the ball now. Plays a pass inside to Gudmundsson, who just takes a heavy touch, and that allows Ndicka to step in for Roma. And then Wesley now finds a pass up to Marlon. Marlon can turn and run at the Fiorentina backline. Up to the edge of the box. Comes inside onto his right foot. Still Marlon shoots! Oh, he's hit the crossbar. It took a little deflection on the way through, I think, so Roma are going to have a corner, but that was a lovely little cameo of what Daniel Marlon's all about there. Just gathered the ball in 35 yards or so from goal, turned and drove at the heart of the Fiorentina defence, came inside onto his right foot, just created an angle for the shot. As I say, it's taken a little deflection there. I think it's Ranieri. Yeah, Ranieri, fantastic sliding block from Luca Ranieri, because I think it was on target anyway, the shot, and I don't think the goalkeeper was getting there. And so all of a sudden, Roma looking to bare their teeth with Daniel Marlon, and they've got a corner here now from the left-hand side. In it goes, right-footed in swing. It's a header, and it's a goal! It's Gianluca Mancini giving Roma the lead. And the fans here at the Stadio Olimpico are absolutely delighted. Gianluca Mancini takes the adulation, takes a bow. It's delight for Gasparini, despair for Paolo Vanoli, because Fiorentina have made a really, really good start to this game, but their defenders were nowhere in sight there as that corner came in. And Gianluca Mancini had the freedom of the Eternal City, really, just to nod the ball into the back of the net. And it's the ideal start for Roma here. It was Ranieri who was half-tracking Mancini, I guess. But in the end, he didn't get close enough. And Mancini, well, he won't score many easier goals than that at the near post. Just helping it on its way. David De Gea, no chance whatsoever. The ball flashed past him before he could even react. And it's Roma who strike first here at the Stadio Olimpico. Gianluca Mancini with a textbook header from an in-swinging corner from the left-hand side. And all of a sudden, Fiorentina have got it all to do here. Let's see what they've got by way of a response, as they immediately launch it forward up to the edge of the box. Nodded down by Gersons, and Dor keeps it alive. Here's Dodo, but no, the referee has given a free kick here. I'm not entirely sure what that's for. I don't think it was offside. I can only imagine it was against Gersons, possibly for a foul there as he challenged for the ball in the air. Not entirely sure. Oh, maybe hands on the back of Mancini. It's a pretty soft one, though. Mancini was calling for it as you'd expect, but a bit of a harsh call there, I think, on Robin Gersons. Roma won't mind that, as the ball is now played inside to Cristante. Midway inside his own half, centre of the pitch. Here's Svilla now, the goalkeeper, launching it long. It's just going to bounce all the way through to his opposite number, David De Gea. And De Gea just takes a couple of moments to just survey the scene in front of him before eventually rolling a pass out to Dodo on the right-hand side. Dodo firing it into Gudmundsson in midfield, but he was being pressed all the way there by Ndicka, who'd followed him up. And well, Gudmundsson did well to just about keep that alive for Fiorentina, and eventually they win a throw-in over on the right-hand side to the visitors. Still midway inside their own half, though, as Dodo looks for options. Hasn't got too many of them, in truth. It's about going to Harrison instead. Goes up the line, but that's well won there by Ndicka. Good aerial play there in midfield by Cristante. And now, chasing the ball down the left-hand side is Wesley. Dodo comes across well, prevents the corner, but has to knock it out of play for a throw-in deep inside Fiorentina territory. There's Wesley now. takes several steps back and prepares to launch this one into the penalty area. In it goes from him. It's chested down there by Cristante, but a bit of a heavy touch from him, and that allows Dodo to volley it clear. It's going to come here, though, to Mancini, who has plenty of time to find Pisilli. Here's Ndika now. Kone on the halfway line. There's just a nice little pass up to Wesley. He wants to give and go with Marlon. Marlon's return pass is decent. Here is Wesley now, just forced out of the penalty area by Dodo, but keeping the ball alive nicely for Roma as Kone moves it on, and the attempted pass into Marlon is well cut out. And now here comes Ndor for Fiorentina. Nice little outside of the pass flick from Harrison, asking Ndor to chase, but good defending over there by Cristante, mopping things up for Roma. Playing it back to Svilar, who launches it long. It's nodded down nicely by Sule, who combines well with Celik. Here goes Sule now, up to the edge of the penalty area. Here's Zeki Celik in the box, gives it back to Sule. Sule finds a pass here to the edge of the penalty area, and now Marlon! Oh, it's a sensational strike. It's actually Wesley who's just curled it into the bottom corner. He ghosted in off that left flank, and Wesley Franca. And my word, what a start this is for Roma. 2 goals to the good. Paulo Dybala among the substitutes this evening. He's full of applause down there. And it's a beautiful finish by Wesley, bending it into the bottom right-hand corner. Again, David De Gea, absolutely no chance whatsoever. And it was a lovely move by Roma down the right-hand side. Sule combining so nicely a couple of times with Celik, and then Sule moving the ball on there in midfield to the edge of the box. And it was laid back to Wesley, and when it came to him, well, he made no mistake whatsoever, opening his body up and just passing it into the far corner with his right foot. Lovely, lovely piece of play from him. It was Hermoso who actually laid it off to him. Goodness knows what Mario Hermoso was doing up there, the centre half, but he certainly was there, and it was the perfect layoff. And Wesley Franca making no mistake whatsoever to double Roma's lead here. And, well, I said Fiorentina had a bit of a mountain to climb already, and that definitely is the case now. It's just 18 minutes on the clock. It's already Roma 2, Fiorentina 0, and here come Roma again as Kone bursts away from one challenge, goes down, gets a free kick for his troubles. The referee thinking about doling out further punishment there to Brescianini, who was the man who tripped Manu Kone there. The Fiorentina midfielder getting away with it on this occasion, with just the concession of a free kick. As Svilar now moves it on to Ndika. Here's Kone. Good piece of play by him, but under pressure he's coughed the ball up in the end to Pongracic. And now here's Luca Ranieri. Ranieri now lays the pass sideways to Robin Gersons. Now it's worked into midfield by Fiorentina. Eventually they go back to Gersons, who has to play it back to De Gea. De Gea's clearance is high and not too far, and Celik wins a header, and now Sule trying to slide Cristante in, who had made a good run into the box, but he would have been offside if the ball had got through to him. It actually didn't, because there was a good sliding challenge in there to make the block. And actually, it looks like a terrible decision, the offside verdict there. He looked like he was about 2 yards offside, 2 yards onside, I should say, Cristante. So that would have been a contentious one if it had been Cristante allowed to go through and the goal had been disallowed. Had he put it in the back of the net, which he would have had a fair chance of doing, because I think he would have been in one-on-one with David De Gea. But alas, Fiorentina have the ball back. It's a throw-in for them on the left-hand side on the halfway line. And now here's Brescianini. He moves it over to the right-hand side. He's been dispossessed there as Harrison. And now it's Wesley on his bike again, surging up towards the halfway line, checking back and finding Kone. Here's Hermoso now, lays it off again to Manu Kone, who plays it square to Pisilli. Celik and Sule combining again over on the touchline on the right-hand side. Pisilli now, who's been really deep to get on the ball. Kone getting on it over on the left-hand side now. As Hermoso leaves it back to Ndicka. Roma looking really confident in possession here in these early stages. Just stroking it about really precisely. As Ndicka now has a bit of space in front of him to consider his options. Has to check back under a bit of a press and finds Svilar. Here's Pisilli now, who's almost the deepest man for Roma other than the goalkeeper. As Svilar, just a yard or so in front of the penalty spot. Just takes a moment to ponder his next move. Eventually decides to go long. Over to the right-hand side where Mancini had just slipped forward. Mancini managing to win a throw-in for Roma as well. As Sule now gathers it in the Fiorentina half, just inside it. Plays a pass out to Celik. Here's Sule once again. Sule trying to measure a pass into Marlon. Marlon turns it round the corner, looking for the run there of Cristante, but that's well dealt with by Fiorentina. And then there's a bit of a heavy attempted control there by Pisilli from the clearance. And the ball goes out of play for a Fiorentina throw. Here's Fagioli now. He moves it on to Dodo. Midway inside his own half. Finds Harrison over near the touchline. Harrison comes in field and tries to curl a pass over the top. It was Ndor who was bursting forward there, but again the execution from Jack Harrison just not quite what the doctor ordered. And the ball is back now with Roma. Here is Mancini. Plays it inside now to Pisilli. Here's Ndicka. And now it's Manu Kone. He goes back to Svilar. Here's Pisilli again. Mancini now plays a pass inside that's gathered in by Sule. It's a very fluid Roma system, this. Players have got a lot of license to move around and pick up pockets of space to get on the ball, as Sule is doing now, just inside his own half. Playing it to his right to Mancini. And then it's Pisilli combining with Kone. Now here's Ndicka in the centre circle, still inside his own half. His pass out to the left-hand side was a little bit too heavy, though, for Wesley, who couldn't control it properly, and it just bounced out of play. So Dodo now with the throw-in for Fiorentina. Pretty much exactly on the halfway line. Over on that right-hand side. Still we wait for Dodo to take it. He goes long, down the line up towards Harrison. Hermoso stepping in well for Roma. And Marlon just eased off it there by Pongracic. Here's Gersons now. Plays it up the line. Good little piece of play there to win it back by Celik. Now, here's Sule. Showing good feet, but then an excellent tackle by Robin Gersons. And Fiorentina have it back. Here comes Ndor into the Roma half now. Over on the left-hand side. Running towards the penalty area is Manos Solomon. Checks inside. Finds a pass to Ndor, who's bundled to the floor, but the referee immediately waving away the Fiorentina protests about a penalty, as Marlon now looking to get away from, I think was it Ranieri there who was sticking close to him. I couldn't quite see, but it was a problem for the Fiorentina man, because if Marlon had got away from him, he might have been through on goal there. He was only just a few yards inside the Fiorentina half. It was Pongracic actually who was sticking really tight to Doniel Marlon, but Marlon produced a lovely little touch just to spin it away from him, and then Pongracic just with both hands around the waist of Doniel Marlon, stopping him from advancing any further. It's probably just the fact that it was so high up the field that was saving him from that being a worse punishment than just a yellow card. All of a sudden, very end-to-end stuff. Fiorentina having a shout for a penalty at one end, as Ndor was bundled over by Kone. And then up at the other end, Marlon trying to race through on goal, but being manhandled to the floor by Pongracic, who got himself a yellow card for his troubles. First of the evening. There's Mancini now. Finds Celik. They combine well, but fortunately for Roma this time, Celic and Sule weren't on the same wavelength as Mancini there. They do have it back, and it's down the left-hand side again with Wesley. He plays it back to Kone. And then a nice little crossfield pass by Hermoso, finds Celic. He moves it on to Sule. Sule now, laying it back to the edge of the box to Mancini. Mancini plays it square to Pisili. Here's Sule now, just outside the penalty area. Checks inside onto his left foot. Plays a little pass into Marlon. Marlon, twisting and turning. Plays it out to the right to Celic. Here he is again now, Zeki Celic, combining once more with Sule. Roma, this time just deciding to slow it down a bit. Playing it back to Pisili and Dicker. Here's Manu Kone now, who just took a bit of a heavy touch, and that's given it back to Fiorentina. There was some suggestions that the ball had gone out of play for a throw-in, but the game continues as Harrison battling away in midfield, losing out in midfield. And now here's Marlon, again quickly turning towards goal. Finds support on the outside from Wesley. Here he is again now, Marlon, down to the byline, tries to fizz across along the width of the 6-yard box. It's well blocked at the near post, and the ball trickles out of play for a Roma throw-in. Which will be taken by Wesley over on that left-hand side. It's still deep inside Fiorentina territory. Wesley just taking a moment to tie his right bootlace. And he has the ball in his hands, and he decides to go short to Kone. Wesley then finding Hermoso. Hermoso with a slightly risky crossfield pass, but let's get through to Celic. Celic bring it back to Cristante. Here he is again, Celic. Now it's Pisili. Goes back all the way to Svilar. Now it's Evan and Dicker, just outside the Roma penalty area, left of centre. Lays it back via Svilar to Pisili. Now Mancini gathers flush to the right touchline. Plays it up the right-hand side, but that's well watched by Ndor, who just screened the run of Pisili and just closed the door on him. There's Fagioli now, the little layoff to Pongracic. Here's Dodo, goes long down the right-hand side. Poor pass from him though, and Hermoso can just watch the ball bounce in front of him. Gathers it in, and then Roma once again can just start working the ball into midfield, which they do with Pisili now. Lays it to his left to Ndika. He's got Pisili for support. Now here's Mancini. First time pass back to him from Celic. Now it's Pisili looking for an angle to play it into midfield. Instead has to go to his left to Ndika, who in turn is forced to play it back to Svilar, the goalkeeper, who now launches it long up towards the halfway line. Celic rising high there with Robin Gersons, but the last touch just coming off the Germany international. And it's a Roma throw-in. Here's Mancini now. He finds a pass to Nicolo Pisili. Here's Ndika, edging up towards the halfway line, finding Wesley on the left-hand side. He plays a nice pass into Kone, then continues his run. Marlon found some nice space in between the lines there, but his control was terrible. But Roma do keep the ball alive anyway. Here's Mancini now, over on the right-hand side. He's come here to Pisili. Pisili plays it inside to Ndika. Now here's Hermoso. Wesley hugging the touchline over on that left-hand side. Again looking to combine with Manu Kone. A little give and go from Wesley. Again his run is ignored. Roma just happy to build patiently here as Pisili again finds Mancini midway inside the Fiorentina half. And eventually they do lose a little bit of patience, and attempted pass over the top from Cristante there was much too heavy. And the ball bouncing into the hands of David De Gea. So if you are just tuning in, it's half an hour gone here at the Stadio Olimpico in Serie A. It's Roma, who are leading the way by 2-0. Fiorentina just looking to stay in the game at certain points since those opening 2 goals, which have both arrived inside the first 15 minutes. First from Gianluca Mancini, headed goal from a corner, and then Wesley Franca coming up with a very well taken second to double Roma's advantage. And it's been all too easy really for the hosts this stage. A couple of half chances for Fiorentina, no more really. Half-hearted shout for a penalty a few moments ago, but beyond that, nothing really for Paolo Vanoli to be happy about as we head towards half-time. Perhaps his men can find something here through Fagioli. Here's Brescianini. Ranieri now stepping out into midfield, finding a pass to Gersons. He goes long down the line, looking for the run there over on the left-hand side of Solomon. Svilar watched it all the way and came out and volleyed clear. Good piece of work there by the Roma goalkeeper. Fiorentina have it back though on the left-hand side as Solomon gathers the ball back to goal, just overruns it and goes down, but Fagioli has got it back, tries to play a ball over the top looking for the run of Brescianini, but Roma cut that out, and then Kone with a sweeping pass forward looking for Marlon. De Gea, good piece of sweeper keepering from him. Comes a long way outside his penalty area to tidy that one up, although his clearance launched long is a bit of a poor one. Ends up going all the way through to Mile Svilar in the Roma goal. And Giallo Rossi can just start to build again from the back, which they do here with Pisili. Here's Svilar again, going long this time. It's a good header that's won by Celik to keep things moving for Roma. There's Mancini now, measures the pass up to Marlon. Marlon back to goal, tries to twist and turn away from Pongracic. He's got to be careful on a yellow card. Good hold-up play by Daniel Marlon, finds Celik on the right-hand side. He advances to the edge of the Fiorentina penalty area, links with Sule. Sule goes back out to Zeki Celik. He finds Kone, who's made a marauding run, and Kone down to the byline. He sends it back, and it's another goal for Roma. Oh, this is sensational football, and it's Mario Hermoso again up from the back. The former Atletico Madrid man just applying the finishing touch to what was a glorious flowing move by Roma. They're playing some absolutely outstanding football here, Gasparini's men. And of all people, it's Mario Hermoso popping up in the penalty area. Kone did all the heavy lifting by getting to the byline and just waiting for the perfect moment to measure a pass. It was good combination play again between Celik and Sule on the right-hand side. They're really having a bit of a field day, those two. And then Celik just found Kone on his outside. Kone got past Fagioli way too easily. And then as he just rolled the ball across the 6-yard box, it was Hermoso who had stolen a march, I should say, on his marker, who was Jack Harrison. Harrison trying to get back there in vain, but just waiting for too long. And my word, it's just going from bad to worse, isn't it, for Fiorentina? Because it's 3-0 now to AS Roma here at the Stadio Olimpico. Mario Hermoso adding his name to the score sheet alongside those of Gianluca Mancini and Wesley. Fiorentina, well, they need to be careful here because this could get pretty ugly if it carries on this way. Still 10 minutes or so until half-time. Already, Roma will be feeling that they've got the 3 points in the bag. Still plenty of time for things to change, of course, but I'd be absolutely amazed if they let it slide from here. As Fiorentina get themselves a free kick. It's Pisili who's been penalised there. And they're going to have another free kick now, Fiorentina. Just inside the Roma half. Left of centre. Cristante, the man penalised that time for a foul, as Dodo gathers inside the centre circle, just inside the Roma half. Plays it to his right to Harrison. Harrison has to go all the way back to Pongracic. Then Ranieri finding a nice little pass to Goodmanson, but Roma win it back, and they're surging forward again here, Roma. There's an opportunity here for Sule to find a pass to Marlon into the penalty area now. Marlon onto the right foot. Good save by De Gea. And the ball comes away to Fiorentina, and it's Manos Solomon who tries to make progress, but plays a bit of a sloppy pass, and there's just no respite here for Fiorentina because Roma back on the front foot once again with Cristante. Here's Manu Kone, who did so well to set up that goal, that third goal. And now it's Mancini. Here's Sule, driving again down the right-hand side, again with Celik for support. He does find Celik. Then Mancini moving it on to Pisili. Here's Cristante. He's met by Brescianini, but the ball bouncing favourably for Roma yet again. There's Kone now. Moves it over to the left-hand side to Wesley. Here's Hermoso, the goal scorer. Kone now. A rare slack pass from him that's intercepted by Dodo, who immediately drills it back to David De Gea. And De Gea just taking his time here as he comes up to the edge of the penalty area. It's a good 5 or 6 yards outside his box now and drills it long down the middle, but that's poor distribution from David De Gea. Looking for the runner through the middle, but just overcooking it. Again, it just bounces through pretty harmlessly to Mile Svilar. It was never really one of his strong points, was it, during his time at Manchester United, David De Gea? The distribution, always much more of a shot stopper, capable of making incredible saves, but was a bit of a bugbear of a few of his managers during his time at Old Trafford. Just that lack of ability to be an elite distributor. Still had a pretty fine career though, hasn't he, David De Gea? You don't stay at a club like Manchester United for as long as he did without having something about you. And he hasn't been able to do anything about any of those 3 goals that Roma have scored today. As he now collects the ball once again from Pongracic. Gives it back to Marin Pongracic. He comes out and lays it back once again to De Gea. You'd imagine Fiorentina at this point will just be happy to get to half-time with the score as it is, rather than taking any more damage. As Fagioli tries to control it in the midfield, Brescianini does control it in midfield nicely, then combines with Dodo. Here's Brescianini again. Finds a pass to Gersons. Here's Ndor now. This is a bit better from Fiorentina. Brescianini laying it off to Gersons. The referee, well, he stopped the game here because Manu Kone is down. I think he thinks it's a head injury, referee, but Kone appears to be holding his midriff. Oh yeah, he was just whacked into there at full pace by Ndor. It's just a body check. And he went down in a bit of a heap. I suspect he might be winded there. Manu Kone. He's back up on his feet though, which is good to see. So, Gianpiero Gasparini, which is on from the sideline. He must be absolutely delighted with what he's seen so far in this opening 39 minutes or so. As Gersons gives the ball straight to Pisili, but does well to win it back. And then Sule battling away with Solomon. Solomon coming out on top on that occasion, just inside his own half. Finds a pass to Harrison over on the right-hand side. He's got Dodo in front of him. Combines well with Dodo. Now the cross in from Harrison. That's headed clear by Ndika. Nodded down by Sule. And then Marlon back to goal. Again doing well to hold up the ball and plays it to his right to Pisili. He goes back to Mancini. Mancini now plays the ball square to Ndika. And Roma, midway inside their own half, looking to make headway up towards the halfway line through Kone. He combines with Wesley. A little layoff there by Hermoso. Now here's Nicolo Pisili again. Mancini collects wide on the right-hand side. Still midway inside his own half. Now here's Ndika. Good measured pass up to Marlon, who, again, is happy to come towards the ball with his back to goal. Goes down under a challenge from Pongracic. And Roma happy to take the free kick just on the halfway. Here's Kone now. Moving it out to the left-hand side to Wesley. Hermoso finding Kone again. Kone looking to return the pass to Hermoso, but Dodo did well to cut it out. So a nice little back heel from him. Finds Harrison. Goodmanson, who's been pretty quiet, and just to get on the ball for the first time in a while. And then Fagioli finds Ranieri outside him. Midway inside the Roma half now. Fagioli plays it inside to Brescianini. Here's Dodo. Dodo out to Harrison. Harrison plays a pass down the line. Dodo's cross from the byline. That's deflected behind, I think. Could be a corner. Pretty sure it must be. That's a better piece of play by Fiorentina. Slightly more encouraging link up down the right-hand side. Eventually ending in a corner for La Viola. Well, no, the referee has actually decided it didn't take the final touch off the Roma man, instead saying it's deflected back off Dodo. And so it is a goal kick instead to Roma. Which Svilar eventually drills long after taking it short and getting it back. Here's Pisili now, just volleying it back to his goalkeeper under a bit of pressure. Doing well. Little layoff by Celik to Mancini. Mancini looking for options to pass it into midfield, but has to go back to Svilar. And here is Mile Svilar now. Plays it into Cristante. Cristante with a nice measured pass up towards the halfway line that doesn't quite come off though. And now here's Ndor for Fiorentina. Poor pass from him though, up to Goodmanson, but Harrison sliding in to win it back. Here's Fagioli now. It's Brescianini. Oh, bit of a sloppy one from him, almost gifting it to Manu Kone, but does well to win it back, to his credit, Brescianini. And he finds a pass to Dodo. Here's Fagioli now. Fagioli turning away from a couple of challenges. 30 yards out. Moves it to his left to Gersons. Gersons with a low cross, and that's a decent ball in from the Germany man. And it's Mancini who has to stoop low to head it behind. This time it will be a corner for Fiorentina, I'm sure of that. It was a decent ball into the box there by Robin Gersons. Mancini in the right place at the right time, just to nod it behind, just as he was at the other end. Right place at the right time. That in-swinging corner came in after 10 minutes that he nodded home. And in comes this corner from Fiorentina. Headed up but not entirely away. Good shot in there from Fagioli on the volley. That's been deflected behind as well. It's going to be another corner here for Fiorentina. Just looking to turn the screw a little as we head into the final couple of minutes or so of this first half. They've taken this corner short. It's back here to Goodmanson. Now there's an opportunity for a cross to come in. It's Harrison floating it up. That had to be dealt with by Wesley, who got back in just in front of his goalkeeper and nodded the ball behind for what will be yet another Fiorentina corner. It's a teasing little right-footed cross from Jack Harrison. And credit to Wesley. He'd watched it all the way and just glanced off his head and behind for a Fiorentina corner from the right-hand side, which Harrison's going to take. And it comes from him, punched away with authority by Svilar. It's going to come here to Fagioli, who volleys it back to Dodo. Dodo measuring a pass from left to right to Brescianini, trying to get Roma on the back foot once again. Here's Harrison. Harrison's pass inside finds Fagioli. Here's Dodo coming late onto the ball. Now Brescianini wide on the right hand side. Lovely little step over, gets to the byline, stands it up. That's chested down neatly by Sule, who then plays a bit of a risky pass away to Celik, but gets away with it. And then Zeki Celik happy to win a throw-in for his team. A little deflection off Robin Gersons. That was good play by Brescianini to set up that situation. Just a little drop of the shoulder and managed to get down to the byline. Stood the ball up. No one there in the right place, unfortunately, from a Fiorentina perspective. As Roma now look to navigate the final 45 seconds or so of this opening half. And they're going to do so on the front foot here as Sule comes in. Little Rabona pass inside to Marlon. Well, Marlon's touch was a bit heavy, but all the tricks are coming out now for Roma. And you can't blame them really, can you? Because it's been all too easy for them in this first half, in truth. There's Ndicka now, just inside his own half. Plays a pass to his right to Pisili. Here's Sule now. Sule tries to clip a pass up towards Hermoso. Hermoso in the box, wins a header. Sends it towards goal, but just bouncing out of play for Mario Hermoso. You can imagine that'll just about be that for this first half here. Once David De Gea takes this goal kick. And indeed, the referee has blown his half-time whistle, Lucas Zufurli. And, well, it's a half that has been all Roma, in fairness. They lead at the break by 3-0. It all started on 11 minutes when Gianluca Mancini just flicked in a header from a corner at the near post, completely unmarked, to give Roma the lead. That lead was doubled just a few minutes later by Wesley, who ran onto the ball and just curled a lovely right-footed shot into the far corner after a nice piece of set-up play by Mario Hermoso. Then Hermoso went from provider to scorer, as Manu Kone did really well getting to the byline when he cut the ball back. Hermoso just showing a little bit more drive and ambition than Jack Harrison to get to the ball first in the 6-yard box to prod it past David De Gea, who in truth had absolutely no chance with any of the 3 goals. But Fiorentina, not a huge amount to cheer, I'm afraid. They've had a couple of half chances. They've looked relatively threatening from set pieces, but really it's been all Roma. And, well, Paolo Vinoli has got a real job on his hands if he's going to find a way to turn this one around, because half-time in Serie A at the Stadio Olimpico, it's Roma 3, Fiorentina 0. We'll be taking a quick break now. Make sure you join me again in 10 or 15 minutes or so. Bring you all the second half action live. But from me for now, it's bye-bye. Hello again, everyone. Chris Bryant here to bring you live coverage of the second half of the final game in Serie A this weekend between Roma and Fiorentina. If you're with us in the first half, welcome back. If you are just tuning in for the first time, well, you've missed a bit of a masterclass of attacking football in that first half from Roma. They find themselves 3 goals to the good already, contributed by Gianluca Mancini, Wesley and Mario Hermoso, leaving Fiorentina with a real mountain to climb in this second half if they're going to salvage anything at all from this game. I did mention at the top of the show that Fiorentina have picked up a bit recently. 7 games undefeated in Serie A coming into this one. And actually, if you were to look at a Serie A league table taking only the second half of the season so far into account, these two teams would actually only be separated by 1 point, with Roma on 25 and Fiorentina on 24. But there's absolutely no doubt about the gulfing class between them in the opening 45 minutes at the Stadio Olimpico. That goal by Mancini to get things underway was the 14th headed goal that Fiorentina have conceded this season. That's a high in Serie A. And as I say, followed up by goals from Wesley, the left wing back, and Mario Hermoso. It just means that Fiorentina are going to have to just try and come up with something early in this second period to give them some sort of foothold in the game, but the way things have gone so far, you can only really see further goals in this one for Roma. It's Gianpiero Gasperini just re-emerges from the tunnel. He's actually never registered a win over Paolo Vanoli as opposite number. Two teams did meet when Gasperini was in charge of Atalanta and Vanoli was at Torino. 2 meetings there. There's 1 draw and 1 win for Vanoli. Vanoli has made a couple of changes at half-time. Just bring you up to speed with those in a moment. It's Marin Pongracic. He's gone off. Picked up a yellow card in the first half. Actually his 11th yellow card in Serie A this season. More than any other player. He's gone off and he's been replaced by Pietro Comuzzo. And actually it's a triple change for Vanoli, so making it pretty clear what he thinks of that performance in the first half. The other 2 players going off, Jack Harrison, and I'll confirm the other one. I think it's Albert Goodmanson actually who's gone off. Coming on to replace them, it's Riccardo Braschi and also Fabiano Perizzi. So we're underway in the second half. The ball is with David De Gea early on here for Fiorentina. Just outside his penalty area. Foot on the ball, just rolling it forward. Playing a pass into midfield to Brescianini. It's back again with David De Gea. Roma just sending their substitutes out to warm up now. Among them, of course, as I mentioned in the first half, Paulo Dybala. Also got the likes of Kostas Tsimikas there, Angelino, Stefan El Shaarawy. Plenty of options for Gasperini if he wants to rest a few legs. As the ball is now played over to the right-hand side to Comuzzo. First touch for him. Similarly, first touch here for Parisi. Parisi goes down under a bit of a heavy challenge there on the halfway line from Hermoso. And Fiorentina awarded a free kick, which Parisi wants to take quickly. It's played up there to Ndor. Under pressure, has to go back towards his own goal to Ranieri. Ranieri goes longer this time, and it's a decent ball actually from Ranieri. Well cut out though by Mancini. It's going to come here, is it to Pisili? No. Fiorentina instead coming down the left-hand side now with Solomon. It's come here to Braschi. Braschi shoots low. Oh, he's hit the post. And Fiorentina, they might have another chance here on the edge of the box. Low shot comes in. And that's gathered well by Svilla. Well, they've shown more attacking intent in the first 2 minutes of this second period than they did for the whole of the first half, Fiorentina. And they came oh so close there to getting that goal I mentioned they needed just to give themselves some kind of skin in this game. Hit the inside of the post, agonisingly close there for Fiorentina. But now here come Roma again. Breaking into the Fiorentina half. Spread across to Wesley, but that's intercepted well by Dodo, who goes surging into the Roma half now. He's running at Hermoso, goes past Hermoso. And Hermoso sending Dodo sprawling to the turf. And he's been penalised as Hermoso, and he's going to get booked as well. The scorer of Roma's third goal. I don't think he can have too many complaints there. Mario Hermoso is trying to plead his case with the referee, but Dodo just knocked the ball past him and was clearly going to do him for pace. And Hermoso just stepped across the flying fullback, sent him tumbling to the floor. And the yellow card is the inevitable outcome now. Fiorentina, good to see some signs of life from them. Riccardo Braschi hitting the post. A fizzing shot from the edge of the penalty area, but they've got another chance here, Fiorentina, to create something now with this free kick, which is wide on the right-hand side, about 35 yards from goal. It's Parisi standing over it there, alongside Fagioli, whose ball into the box is punched away well by Svilar. Solomon manages to bring it down. Ball still in play. He's right over on the touchline on the left-hand side is Solomon. And he wins a throw-in for his team. Does really well, actually, surrounded by 2 or 3 Roma players there, Mana Solomon. It's Fiorentina now, looking to build again. Here's Dodo. About 5 yards or so inside the Roma half. Plays it inside, and now it's with Brescianini. Here's Parisi. Parisi now coming inside on his left foot, stepping away from Wesley nicely. Good piece of skill from him. Is the referee going to award a free kick? No, the ball bobbling away and bouncing through in the end to Mile Svilar. They wanted a free kick there, Fiorentina. I have to say, I can see their case. It was Wesley on Parisi. He's got an absolute handful of his shirt there, and he's nibbling away at his ankles. In fairness, they probably both got a handful of each other's shirts there, Parisi and Wesley, but nevertheless, here come Fiorentina now with Ndor. Midway inside the Roma half. Here's Dodo. Brescianini cuts inside onto his left foot, trying to get away from Hermoso, who's sticking tightly to him. Here's Parisi now. Measures a pass inside to Fagioli. Then it's launched forward into the penalty area, looking for Brescianini. That's going to run beyond him, though. And the ball bounces out of play. And Roma happy to take the goal kick. 5 minutes gone in this second half, but already a much better showing from Fiorentina as they look to somehow claw back some of this 3-goal deficit. The ball, though, is with Roma at the moment, with Svilar. Here's Evan and Dicker, who drives down the left-hand side, finds Hermoso. Here's Cristante now, the Roma skipper. He moves it on to Pisili, who's taken up that quarterback position on the right of centre so many occasions in this game so far. He's doing it again there. And it's Kone now into the Fiorentina half. Wesley, wide on the left, plays the ball inside to Marlon, 25 yards out. Marlon trying to work an angle for a shot. Oh, and he's hit the crossbar again, Daniel Marlon. Did so in the first half. David De Gea puffs his cheeks out, and I think he's got a hand to this, De Gea. But it was another excellent piece of number 9 play from Daniel Marlon. He's in such good form at the moment, isn't he? And again, there's a vital block that's come in. I think this time it was Camuzzo who got a little block on it, and then it came through to De Gea, and he's just helped it on its way onto the crossbar. It's a brilliant save from the goalkeeper. But yet again, Daniel Marlon just looking absolutely electric, receiving the ball on the half-turn and driving right at the heart of the Fiorentina rearguard. And he's so unlucky, Marlon, again, not to get on the score sheet. 11 goals in Serie A since arriving from Aston Villa in January. And Roma, unfortunately, have wasted that corner. It's come in and it's been headed towards goal, I think, by Ndicka. The contact wasn't quite right from the big centre-half. In the end, it just sailed fairly harmlessly wide of David De Gea's right-hand post. As I say, Donyell Malen scoring 11 league goals since arriving in January. Actually, there's only ever been one other player who's scored more in Serie A after arriving as a winter signing, and that's Mario Balotelli for AC Milan. Back in the 2012-2013 season, would you believe? Do you feel as though if he carries on like this, Malen, back against him, actually drawing level with Balotelli this evening. He's come pretty close twice now, hitting the crossbar. The sign of half-time. As Fiorentina to try and turn the tables again with Dodo. Midway inside the Roma half, plays it to his right to Parisi, who immediately wants to come in field again on his left foot. Fagioli moves it on to Brescianini. Here's Ranieri now. Plays the pass up to Ndor, who shows good strength under pressure from Mancini with his back to goal to hold it up and keep the move flowing. Gosens moving it on now to Solomon. Solomon looking to run at Celik, finding a pass inside to Parisi, who dummies the ball nicely to Brescianini. Dodo into the box now, steps away from one man, shoots. That's well blocked back there, I think, by Mancini. So it was a nice piece of skill from Dodo before that, just to step away from his man. Mancini coming across well and blocking the shot. Fiorentina have taken the corner quickly. It's Brescianini now, curls one in, left-footed. Headed away by Roma. They've got it back though, Fiorentina, with Brescianini. Here's Parisi now, wide on the right-hand side, just outside the Roma penalty area. He's got Dodo for support, uses him. Dodo swings in a low cross towards the near post, bouncing around awkwardly, and Dicker eventually manages to hoik it away. That's going to go out for a throw-in to Fiorentina. Camuzzo takes it quickly. Such an improved performance from the Viola in this second period already, as Fagioli collects the ball now. Midway inside his own half. Twisting and turning, trying to get away from Cristante, who's fouling him, I think, but Fagioli doing really well, keeping it moving for Fiorentina. Here's Dodo now. Dodo curls a pass inside to Braschi. Braschi just having his pocket picked there, and particular attack just fizzles out a little bit disappointingly for Fiorentina. They've won the ball back with Parisi here, just getting to it ahead of Wesley on the halfway line, and Wesley just leaving his mark on Fabiano Parisi, sending him sprawling to the turf. Yeah, a bit of a reckless challenge that by Wesley. You can see why the referee's penalised him. It's Fiorentina now, looking to get the ball up the field. It's Parisi, just smuggled out of it this time by Wesley, who does though have to turn and go back to Ndicka. He finds Svilar. Now coming short to receive is Pisili. Here he is again now, Niccolò Pisili. He plays it into midfield to Manu Kone. And here's Ndicka now. Midway inside his own half still. Plays it back to Manu Kone, who got the assist for the third goal. It's about 10 minutes before the first half, getting to the byline really smartly and cutting it back for Hermoso to finish on the edge of the 6-yard box. And he's been a real driving force for Roma so far as Kone, but a little bit overshadowed so far in this second period by the Fiorentina midfield, who's starting to get a bit of a grip on this game now. And Ndor finding a good pass to Gosens. Gosens, wow, he tried to measure it into Braschi, but it's a bit too heavy from Robin Gosens, and Ricardo Braschi just holds his head in frustration. Hangs his head in frustration, I should say. As the ball trickles out of play for a Roma throw-in, which Hermoso's going to take now on the left-hand side, midway inside his own half. Gets it back, and then he's immediately shut down by Brescianini. Here's Wesley now to take this next throw-in. Hermoso closed down instantly by Braschi. Roma win it back, and they're coming forward here through Cristante. Cristante trying to slider pass through to Marlon, but couldn't squeeze it through the gap. And De Gea launches it clear, but heavy touch from Brescianini. Presents the ball back to Cristante. Cristante now swinging a ball deep to Marlon. Marlon controls it nicely in the penalty area. Clips the ball up towards the back post. Nodded back across by Cristante. It's going to come again here to Marlon. They're queuing up here for Roma. Outside of the foot cross, headed in. And it is a fourth goal for Roma. And it's Nicolo Pisili. Lovely piece of play from Doniel Marlon. An impudent little cross with the outside of the right foot. And they just had so many bodies in the box there, Roma. It seemed to be getting played from one post to the other as they took their time to carve open the ideal opportunity. And in the end, it was Marlon just flicking the ball with the outside of his right foot. And there was Pisili, who, as I said, has been pretty deep for most of this game, but he's timed a run into the penalty area to perfection. It was Cristante's looping header from left to right initially. Marlon has just, with the outside of the right foot down near the byline, has just flicked it towards the edge of the 6-yard box. And there was Pisili just escaping the attentions of Pietro Camuzzo, the substitute, to nod the ball down and past the despairing dive of David De Gea to make it AS Roma 4, Fiorentina 0. It's just such a big blow for Fiorentina, considering the impressive start that they made to that second half. Really looked as though they were starting to make some inroads into the Roma defensive shape. And certainly getting a bit more of a grip on the game in midfield as well. But unfortunately for them, they now find themselves trailing by 4-0 at the Stadio Olimpico. And if the points weren't wrapped up for Roma at half-time, well, I'm pretty sure they are now. This fourth goal is a little bit of a killer for Fiorentina, you feel. Scored, as it has been, by Nicolo Pisili, adding to the goals scored in the first half by Gianluca Mancini, Wesley and Mario Hermoso. And really now for Fiorentina, this final half an hour may just have to be about damage limitation. As Dodo now prepares to take a throw in over on the right hand side. It's midway inside the Roma half. He's been one sort of lively presence, I would say, for Fiorentina down that right hand side as Dodo. So he's looked to carry the fight to Roma. As the ball is laid back here to Ranieri. He goes long. Now it's come here to Brescianini, midway inside his own half. He's got Dodo on his outside. Just heading up towards the edge of the centre circle now is Brescianini. It's played back to Camuzzo. Camuzzo now looking for support ahead of him. Roma happy just to sit off now for the moment, and why not, with those 4 goals in the bank. Now here's Dodo. Dodo now under a bit of pressure, has to go back to Camuzzo. Now he plays it back to David De Gea. De Gea now just taking his time at the edge of the penalty area. Eventually going long, De Gea. It's going to be won back by Roma though, as Kone gathers it in. It does look as though Roma are going to maintain this decent run they've been enjoying at the Stadio Olimpico. They haven't actually lost at home in Serie A since all the way back in November. They lost 1-0 to Napoli. It's a goal from David Neres. They've actually scored now in 14 consecutive home matches. A total of 31 goals across those games. They are also the side of recorded the third most shots from set pieces. One of their goals, the first one from Mancini, coming from that particular route, corner. It's 110 shots from set pieces heading into this game for Roma. There's only Inter with 141 and Genoa with 112 who have recorded more. It looks as though they're going to be heading up to 5th place in the Serie A table this evening. Leapfrogging Como and closing in to within a point of 4th place Juventus. Really giving their Champions League ambitions a shot in the arm this evening. It's Fiorentina now, looking to bring the ball away with Ranieri. Ranieri looks for Dodo on his outside. Dodo now turns back towards his own goal. And he's met quickly over there. The challenge coming in from Mancini. And the ball goes out of play for a Fiorentina throw-in. Now it looks as though Roma going to make a change here. Manu Kone, I think his race is run for this evening. He's going to be coming off. He's going to be replaced by Stefan El Shaarawy. That change is imminent now. Stefan El Shaarawy, of course, a bit of a veteran, isn't he, for Roma? Seems to have been playing for them forever. He's going to come on just to add a bit of attacking verve to Roma. Not that they've been particularly short of it so far. He's going to be coming on now. He's replacing Manu Kone. Kone, of course, who's made his impact on this game, was all over the park in the first half. Just popping up lots of good positions for Roma to get on the ball and start driving them forward. And of course having that hand in the third goal 10 minutes before half-time. Just getting to the byline and cutting the ball back for Mario Hermoso, who's steaming in to put it away just on the edge of the 6-yard box. Hermoso nipping in ahead of Jack Harrison to ball into the back of the net. As ball now breaks here for Wesley for Roma. Wesley coming down the left-hand side. He's met there by Dodo. Now Roma are going to have a free kick. It's awarded just on the edge of the penalty area. Will be El Shaarawy taking an interest in this one. It was took place just outside the penalty area, and now we're going to see a free kick here for Roma. It's certainly close enough to goal to have a shy. And Roma being 4 goals to the good already. Fancying their chances of adding to that tally here, I'm sure. A few players in conversation for them. And we await the referee just sorting out the Fiorentina wall. There is a VAR check that's ongoing as well. So we have to wait a couple of moments here for this Roma free kick. El Shaarawy, who's put the ball down. So he looks as though he's favourite. It's certainly one that favours the right footer. It's left of centre. 20 yards out, as I say, just outside the penalty area. Fiorentina just trying to make a wall now. David De Gea. I think he wants at least 4 men in it, possibly 5. So we now await the kick from potentially Stefan El Shaarawy. There's still some recriminations going on here. Dodo is making his case to a few of the Roma players. So there's just a bit of a delay here as we await the taking of this free kick. Parisi as well is going to say a few words to the referee. El Shaarawy continues to spot the ball. They've got one man behind the wall as well, Fiorentina, as El Shaarawy strikes off the wall, and it's gone behind for a corner. So after a big build-up there and the big weight, it was actually a fairly disappointing strike from Stefan El Shaarawy. The wall doing its job there. I think it was Ndor who just nodded the ball away. Now Roma will have a corner. From the right-hand side, it's an outswinger, right-footed. It's headed actually out of the penalty area by Mancini, I think it was, and now Fiorentina looking to come away with Ndor. Down the right-hand side, tries to measure a pass to Dodo. Quickly in there was Wesley to win it back for Roma, but he does just bobble the ball out of play. And it's a throw-in for Fiorentina. Here's Ranieri now, midway inside his own half. Moves it on to Gersons. Coming down the left-hand side here is Solomon. Thought about taking on Celik, but instead finds a pass inside to Braski. He goes down under a strong challenge, wants a free kick, doesn't get it. There's Sule now, coming away down the right-hand side, going past Braski as though he's not even there. Playing a pass into the penalty area that Ndor does well to deal with, and now Fiorentina look to come away. Sliding in there was Braski, but he's lost the ball again. And Roma have it back here through Sule. He plays a calm pass back to Cristante. Here's Wesley now. Couple of step-overs from him up against Dodo. Plays it back here to Cristante. Cristante now decides to go all the way back to Mancini. Now here's Pisili, who scored that 4th goal with a header. 15th headed goal that Fiorentina have conceded this season. It's certainly something that Paolo Vanoli is going to have to sort out moving forwards. See the threat of relegation no longer really there for Fiorentina, but can't continue to keep conceding headed goals at the rate they have been this season if they want to get themselves back into Europe the year after next. As Sule now combining once again with Celik midway inside the Fiorentina half on the right-hand side. Here is Celik now. He's confronted by 2 or 3 white shirts. Manages to find a pass inside to El Shaarawy. Just dribbles into the middle of the park and finds Hermoso. Moves it on first time to Wesley. He combines with El Shaarawy. Here's Wesley again now. Right-footed square pass to Pisili. Now here's Sule. He's got Celik on his outside as ever. Here is Zeki Celik now. Sule once again. Marlon comes short to link up with him. Roma just on easy street here as we enter the final 20 minutes of this game. 4 goals to the good, and they're looking for a 5th now, although Fiorentina managed to win the ball back there as Brescianini comes away, wins his team a throw-in. He's put in a good shift for Fiorentina in the centre of the park there as Brescianini. It's all to no avail at the moment though. As Roma looks as though they're going to make another couple of changes here. Paulo Dybala and also Daniele Ghilardi about to come on. Confirm who's coming off in a moment, but I think one of those coming off is Matthias Sule. Just have to wait and see who the second man to come off is for Roma. Looks like it's Gianluca Mancini, scorer of the first goal. So on comes Paulo Dybala, Roma's most iconic player, certainly the biggest name anyway. And he's got about 18 minutes or so, Dybala, to try and get in on the action here. As Dodo lays the ball back to Camuzzo. Here's De Gea on the edge of his own penalty area. Rolls a pass to his right to Dodo. Dodo into midfield to Fagioli. Under pressure from El Shaarawy, he has to go back to De Gea straight away. De Gea trying to find Braski, but it's well cut out. And then Dybala, nice little pass from him. Good first involvement from the Argentine. And he then lays it back to Gilardi. First touch for him as well. He plays it square to Cristante. Roma just about 10 yards or so outside their own penalty area. Just enjoying some comfortable possession as Cristante goes back to Svilar. Svilar now finding Gilardi. Gilardi with a pass up the right-hand side that's gathered in nicely by Dybala. He shows good feet to turn away from a couple of challenges, and then he wins a throw-in. Does Paulo Dybala. And Fiorentina now, I think, are going to make a couple of changes of their own in a couple of moments. But for now, the game continues as the ball's headed forward to Ndor, who juggles it well and gets away from a couple of challenges really nicely. Solomon just getting his feet in a bit of a tangle, though. That allowed Gilardi to step in. And now here's Ndicka for Roma. Back to Svilar. Pass out to the left-hand side to Hermoso. He moves it on to Wesley. Fiorentina win it back, though. Good piece of play by Parisi. Stepping away from Cristante, who's fouling him for sure, but it's come here to Fagioli on the edge of the penalty area. Fagioli still going. Finds Dodo on his outside. Low cross from Dodo. Oh, and it's so close to being an own goal by Evan Ndicka, who was sliding in desperately to block that low cross from Dodo. Unfortunately for Roma, the ball just bouncing away. I think it maybe took a little flick off Svilar as well, who didn't know anything about it. Yeah, the first touch has actually come from Ndicka, and he's hit the ball into the ground almost inadvertently, has Evan Ndicka, and it's bounced over the dive of Svilar and just flashed narrowly past the post over on that far side. As Fiorentina now do make the double change. It's Fagioli who's gone off, and Brescianini as well. And coming on for Fiorentina, it's Jacopo Fazzini and also Giovanni Fabian. And Fiorentina, meanwhile, have unfortunately wasted the resulting corner. It was a poor delivery from Manos Solomon from the left-hand side, just sailing over the heads of everyone and bouncing out of play for a Roma goal kick. So, 15 minutes to go at the Stadio Olimpico. Roma firmly in pole position here, leading as they do by 4-0. Fiorentina had made an encouraging start to the second half after trailing 3-0 at the interval, but that fourth goal coming from Nicolo Pisili has really taken the wind out of their sails. But here's Solomon now, battling well to cut the ball back. It's going to come here to Parisi on the edge of the penalty area, twisting and turning, getting support from Dodo. Dodo measures across towards the back post. That's an excellent header by Ndicka. It's going to come here, though, to Braski. Braski bundled to the floor there by Gilardi. He wants a free kick there, does Riccardo Braski. Not sure he's going to get one, though. I think instead, ball's gone out of play for a Roma throw-in. It's right down near their own corner flag on the right-hand side. It's Gilardi who's going to take it. He goes long. It's chested down by Ranieri and then volleyed back towards the edge of the Roma penalty area. And Ndor steps in well in midfield to win it. Shows good strength then to hold off Cristante, although Cristante manages to get a long left leg in there on the slide, and Roma come away with the ball now. Here he is again, the skipper, Cristante. Plays it across there to Pisili. And now here's Dybala. Now Gilardi. Roma just building up towards the halfway line. Little clipped pass up the line, finds Dybala, who immediately starts to forage infield. Low pass to the edge of the box to Marlon. Marlon can't quite control, but Roma have it back now with Hermoso. Midway inside the Fiorentina half. Here's Cristante now. Hermoso once again. Goes outside him to Wesley, who's immediately confronted by Dodo, pushing him back. And now here's Pisoli again. Plays it out to the right-hand side, where hugging the touchline is Celik. Here's Dybala. Cristante gathers in midfield, tries to stab a little return pass through to Dybala, but that's well cut out by Fiorentina. And then Dodo with a really nice measured pass down the right-hand side, setting Parisi on his way. Parisi now into the penalty area. He's been pulled back there by Hermoso. The ball's going to come here to Braschi, who's looking to run through Ndicka. It briefly came back to Parisi again, but then Ndicka just tidying things up for Roma and setting them away again now with El Shaarawy. El Shaarawy coming forwards, looking for options. Finds a pass over to the right-hand side to Dybala. Dybala running at Gosens, taking him on, and Dybala winning a corner here for Roma. Nice piece of play back to front from the hosts to land themselves this latest corner. Be taken from the right-hand side. It's Pisoli who's gone over to take this one. They're not sending too many bodies forward here, Roma. As you can understand, with that 4-goal lead, no real need to press particularly hard for the 5th goal. As the corner now comes in, it's headed away towards the edge of the box. It's going to come here to Celik. And Celik now plays a short pass to Wesley. Wesley works it out to the left-hand side to El Shaarawy. El Shaarawy moving it infield to Cristante. Cristante, the nice swept pass over to the right-hand side that actually ends up being headed clear by Fazzini. And that's chested down nicely by Braschi, and then the ball over the top that's asking Fazzini to chase. And Fazzini, well, he's beaten to the ball by Pisoli, who's been absolutely outstanding tonight. Niccolò Pisoli, who's up there taking the corner a moment ago, and he's managed to get all the way back to track a really surging run forward off the ball from Jacopo Fazzini. A credit to Niccolò Pisoli. Really outstanding piece of defensive work from him as Roma look to come forward, but they've given the ball away here. It's laid off by Fabian. It's going to come here, is it to Braschi? No. It's Gilardi over there trying to fend off Solomon. And then Celik just taking the ball off the toes of Manor Solomon and hacking it clear. It's Gilardi now, who just gets there at the same time as Fazzini. Those two come together. But it's Roma who end up getting the call from the referee. It's a throw-in for the hosts. As we enter the final 10 minutes now at the Stadio Olimpico. It's going to be a real red-letter evening for Gianpiero Gasperini and his Roma side, as Celik tries to flick it on from the throw-in, but only succeeds in just nodding it out of play. So Fiorentina now with a throw-in midway inside the Roma half. And it's played all the way back here now to Luca Ranieri. He has to go back to De Gea. And De Gea finds a little pass into midfield to Fabian. Here's Comuzzo. Fabian twisting and turning inside his own penalty area. Eventually just leaves it for De Gea. De Gea now comes to the edge of his box and drills a long right-footed pass down the centre of the park. Yet again, Ndicka is climbing highest. And now here's Marlon. They've got a few bodies in this attack of Roma as it's worked out to the right-hand side to Dybala. Dybala just slows it to walking pace. Just plays a little pass back to Gilardi, who combines with Cristante. Cristante now almost losing the ball, but just managing to keep it moving. Here's Hermoso now. Finds a pass inside to Pisoli. And now here's Ghilardi. Nice little touch by Dybala that's asking Celik to chase, but it's just ended up being a little bit heavy from Paulo Dybala. The ball bouncing out of play deep inside Fiorentina territory for a Fiorentina throw-in. So we're going to see two more changes here now from Roma. Two men coming on, Robinho Vaz and also Jan Ziolkowski. I'll confirm shortly the identity of the two players going off. Well, one of them is Mario Hermoso, that's for sure. And I think it could be the end of Daniel Marlin's evening as well. I imagine he'll be pretty frustrated not to get on the score sheet when Roma have helped themselves to 4, but he's given a performance that underlines exactly why he's been so electric since arriving in January from Aston Villa. Didn't get on the score sheet, but hit the bar twice and produced lovely link-up play on several occasions with his back to goal and driving runs forward that almost resulted in chances for others and chances for himself too. So they've got a bit of a gem on their hands with Marlin, haven't they, Roma? He's going to get the final 7 minutes or so of this game off as the two new substitutes join the fray, Vaz and Ziolkowski. As Dodo now wins the ball aggressively against Wesley. Oh, he's been penalised there, Dodo. He can count himself to be a little bit unfortunate there. Just a 50-50 challenge, really. Yes, Wesley gets to the ball first, but I don't think Dodo did anything wrong there. But Roma awarded the free kick, and El Shaarawy taking it back to Cristante. Here's Ghilardi. Dybala just turning neatly away from a challenge in midfield, and then it's the first touch of the night here for the substitute, Ziolkowski. Here's Wesley. Plays it up the line to Vaz, who goes down under a challenge from Camuzzo. Referee not interested in the substitutes' protest, though. And Fiorentina look to come away here as Dodo combines well with Fazzini, but then gives it straight to Wesley. Wesley finding Dybala. Dybala's layoff. And now it's going to come here to Dybala, is it? No. Hacked clear by Camuzzo. Solomon easily beaten in the air by Ghilardi. And now it's over on the right-hand side, and it's fizzed low across the edge of the 6-yard box by Zeki Celik. Vaz was lurking towards the back post, but it was just a bit too quick for everyone, that cross from Zeki Celik. Just drilled it low. One of those that was almost a cross-come shot, really. And Robinho Vaz just a little bit late on the scene for what would have been a tap-in. As Roma seek this 5th goal just to put the cherry on the cake of what has been a really productive evening for them as we enter the final 5 minutes or so at the Stadio Olimpico. David De Gea now just looking to take this latest goal kick. It's going to go long, up towards the halfway line. Bringing it down neatly there was Fazzini. And then Ndor plays it back to Ranieri. Gets it back from Luca Ranieri. The ball's worked all the way back to De Gea once again. De Gea, again, drilling it long and central. Braschi getting his head on the ball this time twice and nodding it down to Parisi quite expertly, actually. And now here's Fabian. Down to the byline on the right-hand side. Tries to swing in across. It's well blocked again by Evan and Dicker, who's just been a brick wall tonight that Fiorentina have not been able to go through or round, in truth. Fiorentina do have a throw-in. Deep, deep inside Roma territory on the right-hand side. Parisi thought about taking it, but eventually leaves it for Dodo. It's level with the penalty spot, I would say, from that right-hand side. As Dodo decides to go short. Gets it back, does the Brazilian fullback. Plays it inside to Parisi. Parisi thinks about a cross on the left foot, but instead rolls it back to Camuzzo. And Camuzzo, well, having to go all the way back to De Gea. And all the momentum just goes out of that particular attack for Fiorentina. As De Gea once again looking to clear, playing a pass into midfield to Parisi. Parisi showing good feet temporarily, but then actually coughing the ball up, and Cristante finds Vaz just outside the Fiorentina box. It's come here to Wesley on the left-hand side. Good little link up between him and Cristante. Now, driving towards the penalty area again is Pisili. He's had the ball taken off him by Undor, who's putting a pretty impressive shift quietly in midfield for Fiorentina. As chasing a long ball there is Braschi, and Dicker, though, yet again, tidying it up with ease. And just rolling it back to Svilla. It does seem odd to say that Roma defender could potentially be the player of the match, but Dicker has been absolutely outstanding. I'm sure it'll go to one of the attacking players for Roma, of course. Any of the 4 goal scorers, in truth, all had good games, but Dicker's been an absolute tower of strength back there. As Vaz now gathers a ball just inside the Fiorentina penalty area. It's going to come here to Dybala. Dybala twisting and turning, looking for some space to conjure something. Dybala finds a 1-2 with Vaz. Tries to swing in a left-footed cross as Dybala, but that's well dealt with by Fiorentina. It's going to come here, though, to Ziolkowski. And now here's Wesley. Right-footed cross. Headed away well by Undor. Chested down to Fazzini. And it's going to break here for Mana Solomon, who surges over the halfway line down the left-hand side now. Plays a pass to his left to Braschi, who wants to take on Gilardi. Does so. And is told to get to his feet by the referee. I'm not sure he can actually believe his luck there, Gilardi, because I'm almost certain that he's fouled Braschi. The referee not interested at all in the protests, and instead pointing for a goal kick for Roma, which Svilar has taken short. Cristante now gives it to Pisili. Now here's Cilic, crossing the halfway line, moving it to his right to Dybala. Dybala, incisive little pass inside to El Shaarawy. El Shaarawy just slowing it down again and finding Dybala once more, who immediately sweeps a pass out to the left-hand side to Wesley. Nice little step over from Vaz. Here's Dybala curling one towards goal. That's straight at David De Gea. That's a nice little piece of interplay there by Roma. And the space opened up for Dybala. Just opened his body up and tried to curl one left-footed towards the top corner, but I think De Gea had read his intentions. Went straight at the former Manchester United goalkeeper. It was an easy save for him in the end, but here come Roma again now with El Shaarawy. Dybala's layoff to the edge of the area to Pisili. Pisili, he's trying to find Cilic on the outside of him. He made an excellent run, but he just, for once, Pisili just made a bit of a hash of the pass. Meanwhile, Fiorentina have been awarded a free kick for a foul by Gilardi on Mana Solomon. As we head into extra time, additional time, it's Fiorentina who are going to have a free kick. Just the 2 minutes to be added on. And I'm sure it'll be 2 minutes that Fiorentina will be happy to see the back of as quickly as possible, because it's just not been their evening tonight. It's been a pretty chastening affair for them. And for Paolo Vanoli, he'll just need to get his players to lick their wounds, and then the focus can quickly turn to next week's home game against Genoa. It's on Sunday, that game. And while for Roma, well, it's all systems go, isn't it, in this Champions League push? Can they just pip Juventus to the line? We'll have to wait and see. But Fiorentina for now have got a chance here right at the end. Here's Parisi. Tries to bend it towards the top corner with his left foot from an inside right position, but gets it all wrong, and just about sums up Fiorentina's night, that from Fabiano Parisi. Had a clear side of goal, just a couple of yards inside the box. Opened his body up and tried to bend it left to right into the top left-hand corner, but just didn't make the contact he wanted. Got it all wrong, and the ball sailed a long way wide of the goal. As Roma now, in these final seconds, Well, El Shaarawy just had his pocket picked there by Andorra, I think it was. And the referee, I think he's given a free kick to Fiorentina here. It was, Andorra stepping in to win it off El Shaarawy, who was just dawdling on the ball. And then I think El Shaarawy actually ended up fouling Cher Andorra. And so it is going to be a Fiorentina free kick that could well be the final action of this game. El Shaarawy getting a yellow card for his troubles as well. And so let's see if Fiorentina can just salvage a tiny little bit of pride at the end here and ruin the clean sheet for Roma. It's swung in by Fazzini towards the back post. Headed away as far as Solomon. Solomon now just outside the area. Tries to turn away from Celik. But the referee, Luca Zufferli, decides to blow up. Fourth ball time in this game. And the story here is it's glee for Gasperini and joy for Roma, because they've leapfrogged Como into 5th place in the Serie A table, and their push for Champions League qualification is still well and truly on track. It was never really likely to end any other way as soon as Gianluca Mancini gave Roma the lead in the 12th minute, heading home from an in-swinging corner from the left-hand side. Just 5 minutes later, Wesley added the second goal, converting after a nice layoff from Hermoso on the edge of the penalty area, just bending a nice finish into the far corner. That did Wesley. And then 10 minutes before half-time, Hermoso, having laid on that goal for Wesley, then got one himself after some excellent work from Kone getting to the byline down the right-hand side. Hermoso just a little bit hungrier and a bit more alert than Jack Harrison, stealing a march on the former Leeds man and just prodding home from the edge of the 6-yard box. And at half-time, 3-0 to Roma. Fiorentina had it all to do. They made a good start to the second half, to be fair to them. Then when Niccolò Pisili scored with a header after some good play by Cristante and Doniel Marlon, it really was game over. Fiorentina never gave up. They never allowed their heads to drop. Some of the substitutes did make an impact, but it was really all too easy for Roma. Fiorentina, they stay where they are in the table for now. Relegation, as I say, not really a concern for them anymore. But they'll just be playing out the season now and looking ahead, I guess, really to the summer and what they can do to ensure they avoid another poor season similar to the one that they're having. Their 7-game unbeaten run in Serie A is over. But today, it's all about Roma. They're up into 5th place. As I say, they've leapfrogged Como. They now move to within just a single point of 4th placed Juventus in this race for Champions League qualification that certainly looks as though it's going to go down to the wire, doesn't it? But that's just about it from me. Hope you've enjoyed live coverage of this game as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. My name's Chris Bryant. This has been Roma 4, Fiorentina 0. Have an excellent evening, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye for now.